Okay, we're going to do a de-rusting of a tank from a Honda GB400. It's pretty dang rusty. I'm going to show you the inside here. You can see way in the tank. Now, I have already done this once with vinegar, and it's not really got it very clean, although it took a ton of rust out of it. You can see here, here's our other bottles there, pretty dirty. That's all the stuff that came out of them. So there was a lot of rust in there, but we're going to take and try and put some more in there. We're going to fill the tank full and let it sit for a little while. Okay, while we're waiting for the tank to de-rust, we've already filled it again with vinegar. I'm going to reassemble this Petcock and follow the instructions here. Got a nice little kit here. This comes from a company here called All Balls Racing. So you can see that, and it's number 601222. Comes with the instructions. So we're going to follow the instructions here. Couple of that, and all the parts we need, including a drill bit that we're going to need to drill out the rivets. But here's all the different O-rings and stuff to rebuild this Petcock. And there's the little screws. We'll need to put it all back together again, because as you can see here, this one has rivets on here, and we're going to drill those puppies out and follow the instructions. So I'm going to get started here. Okay, so I originally cleaned off this Petcock as much as I could, but it's obviously there's stuff inside of it because there was all kinds of crud inside this when I took it off the first time. So we're going to take it all apart and redo it again. Okay, so the first thing it says to do is we want to take and drill out the rivets. It's going to use a 1/4 inch bit first. We're going to take the top of the rivet off and just make just enough to get it off, and then we're going to use a little smaller bit to just tap into it enough to make the screws when we put it back in. Okay, now we've drilled enough off to get that. It says don't remove the faceplate. We're going to take the smaller bit that they send you here, this little guy here, and we're going to take this one here and drill in enough just so we can tap it. It says go down 5/8 of an inch, and that's where we're going to go. Okay, I said 5/8. It's 5/16. Here you can see that I've marked off with tape. I got 5/16 on the end of here, and we're going to drill that down so that'll make the tap for our self-tapping screws. Okay, we've got it all drilled out now, as you can see here, drilled out there. And I haven't taken the faceplate off yet, though, but we're going to use a little flathead screwdriver to remove it. And keep an eye out for where everything is connected as you're pulling it through. And then we're going to take and use our kit and replace all the stuff. This nut on the bottom takes a 10mm to take that off. It comes off pretty darn easy, so be careful with it. You don't have to force it too hard. And we'll tear it apart, and once we get tore apart, we'll put everything back together again. Well, it should come off easy, but it's not. So we'll get the bottom off first, and then I'll have to use a little force to get the other one off. But you see the bottom piece comes off pretty easy. You can see the pieces inside. There's the little float piece. Here's the thing here. I'm going to clean all this before we put it all back together again. I'm going to take out this little piece here. Well, I know it comes out. It's going to come out. We're going to take all that apart. Now this little O-ring here was holding in this plastic piece here in the bottom, so right there, so you can see that. And that cleared out that, and here's what the innards look like. All that's got to be cleaned. Okay, you can see we got it all pulled apart. This is the inside of it. This is the actual thing, and you can see how much crud is in there. There's an O-ring on the outside of there. When we took this piece off, there's two different O-rings here. One that has nothing on it. This one has little nubbins on it. This one goes in first. This one goes on the outside around this thing. And you get the black piece on the inside, and that we're going to pull out. That's obviously crudded up. I don't know how anything could ever get through that. So we're going to be taking that guy out too next. Now here you can see I've cleaned that out. Look how much cleaner that is. All that crud's gone out of there. I haven't put a new O-ring on there yet, but I'm going to replace that one too to make sure I've got the new one on there. Okay, so while I was cleaning this, the stem completely broke off. It was just absolutely corroded to death. So I cleaned the inside out. It's nice and clean now. I've run air through them, so all the holes are open correctly. I had to drill out a little piece and put a new piece of pipe in there, which I happen to have. So I actually have a reserve, and then we're going to go from there and put it all back together again and see how we do. I had to file down these posts, as I said, and of course they didn't go real easy, which was and then they had a little lip on them. I couldn't get them over, but you have to make sure that you can get your plate over top of them and they don't exceed past the plate. So when you put the new screws in that tap it in, that they hold it in real well. Okay, as you can see, we got this piece in here. That's going in there, and we're going to now we're going to put the other two washers in, which are very simple here. Saw them come out. This one goes in first. This little washer goes in after. And then that's with the two pieces up near the top. And we know the valve goes in the top like that. I did not change the O-ring here on this one because it looked really, really good. I'll take this piece here, put it up here, get it into position. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the screws in, the new tap screws. Put it all together. Those screws are right over here. We're going to tap these guys in. And they take a little Phillips. I'm going to have to go get one, so hang on a second. Okay, so here I put the plate back on with the two screws. Use a small screwdriver here. I'm going to make sure they're good and tight because they need to be really snug. And we're going to take the bottom. This is the piece with the little screen on it. This goes in this way. Carefully, you don't want to hurt the screen. It only kind of fits in one way here, which is the other way, which not that way. I didn't have it on here. Here we go. Well, if I can get it on here correctly, here we go. There we go. Now we're on. Now it's on, and this has a little O-ring that goes with it, which is here somewhere. There it is, right here. This one goes in here. So you put the fresh O-ring in, push it down. Now we take our bottom, put it back on. And this is our 10 millimeter. Tighten it down. You don't want any leaks on it. And there we have a completely rebuilt Petcock, or valve if you wish, for 19 87 to 89 Honda GB400. All done. And we'll work with the rest of the tank when the vinegar gets done eating the rust up. Well, things didn't turn out so well on the tank. We drained the tank of all the vinegar and got a lot of rust out of it, and found out that it had been coated with red coat inside, and that was peeling off and making big chunks there. So I'm going to have to take the tank and have it either redone, or I'm going to have to get a bunch of acetone here and clean the tank out first before I do anything else with it. So for now, that's all we're going to be doing.